Hello guys, this is Aravind. Today March 26, 2020. Today we will be discussing a lot about AWS and its services. In the day one of the demo class, we discussed about Amazon recognition, the benefits of Amazon certification and so on. Today we will be talking about building a face detection application using Amazon and its services. Now for this, I would like to start with a disclaimer. In the entire video of 4 days, the webinar series of AWS, please use the services that I am showing in the videos. Please do not use the services apart from the shown services. This is because AWS offers a lot of services. Few of these services are eligible for free tier, few of them are not. Having said that, it is important for us to know which of these services and its configurations are eligible for free tier, which of them are not. Now that's the reason you need to watch the entire video carefully and decide what is best suited for this particular service. I would say refrain yourself from trying out other services. In case if you wish to explore the other services provided by AWS, you are at your own risk. Ethnos will not be responsible for any cost that you are incurring while creating and using your AWS account. You can read about free tiers in the given link, and there are a lot of good FAQs which are available online. Please do check them out before proceeding further. So in the last demo class, we saw about the final product, that is face detection application using AWS services. We saw the end result, how it would look like once we complete all these 4 days starting from today. We also saw the benefits of this entire program, which includes but not limited to having a live project and also an e-certificate. In today's class, I will also be telling you about how to get your e-certificate from us. It requires for you to complete certain things. We will be talking about that. At the end of 4 days, we all hope that you should be able to have a live project in your hand which you can showcase in your GitHub account. We also discussed few prerequisites. We discussed a lot about Amazon AWS recognition. Amazon AWS recognition is a service which is used for detecting the facial features in the given image. In case if you have not watched our first demo video, please go and do that. The link of the same will be available in YouTube description. At the end, we also saw a little bit about GitHub, how to create a GitHub account. Not just that, we also would have created a Telegram bot at the end of demo video. In case if you have not created a Telegram bot or a GitHub account, please go and watch the demo video and learn how to do that. So let's get started, guys. Today we will be talking about account creation issues and how to solve them. On the first day after completing the demo video, I got tons and tons of queries on how to solve these problems when you are creating account. So we'll be talking about that. Not just that, we will also be talking about the architecture of our face detection application, how to create our own servers, how to put the name on your browser. We will also be discussing about what is the right certification available in AWS just for you. And at the end, we will be talking about how to proceed further for getting AWS certification. Now let's start from the first point. Now what are all the usual problems that might happen when you create an account? Now the first step is very simple, giving a username and giving a password. That's not a big thing. Everybody would have cleared that first step in creating an account. Now second step is to provide your personal information. I don't think so people would have faced challenges there as well. Now the third step is where you will be submitting your payment details, just like debit card or a credit card, to AWS. Now this is super important stage, guys. Please make sure that you have few things ready before doing this. The first thing is RuPay card won't work. At the moment, Amazon supports only international cards, namely Visa and Mastercards. You need to have Visa or Mastercards to create an AWS account. It could be a debit card or a credit card, but it should be either Visa or Mastercard. If you do not have this, you will not be able to create an AWS account at the moment. What I would suggest is please try and get Visa or Mastercard in order to do so. RuPay card won't work. Now the second thing is you need to have minimum of 2 rupees in that particular account, because AWS verifies the card by deducting 2 rupees from your account. They will credit it back, of course, right? So after verifying your card, they will credit that 2 rupees back. Now when I say verifying a card, it might take some time for AWS to do that. Sometimes it might take just 2 hours. Sometimes it might also take a whole day. So first important thing is patience. The moment you create an AWS account, feed in your payment details and you see that 2 rupees got debited, you refresh, your account might not get activated. So you need to wait for some time for AWS to verify your account at the back end. That's your third point. Now fourth point is sometimes what happens is even after 1 or 2 days your account is not activated. Now what do I do? AWS debited 2 rupees from my account. I waited for a day and even then it is not activated. I even waited for 2 days. Now what do I do? Now you can raise a support ticket to AWS stating that, hey, I have created my account, you have also debited 2 rupees, but still my account is not active. You can do that. I will tell you in this video on how to do that. So let's get started directly with today's agenda. So the first thing that we'll be talking about is architecture of our application. So when I say architecture, so this is how it looks, right? I mean, Indian team, this is how it looks, right? So there will be a person who will say, I'll take the responsibility of batting. There will be few people who will say, I'll take the responsibility of bowling. There will be few who will say, no, I am a part of, both. I can do both, right? And there will be 1 or 2 guys who will, taking care of the leadership, managing, coordinating the entire team stuffs, things like that. Now this is called as architecting a team, right? So architecting a team involves deciding who will do what, who is responsible for what. Not just that, also the coordination between the teams. Now that's called as architecture. Now when I say I'm going to discuss today the architecture of the entire application, we'll be deciding the components of our application or services involved in our application, just like, hey, who will be our team members, right? Just the way that we are deciding our team members for Indian cricket team. Likewise, we will also be deciding few services from AWS which will be a part of our application. Now the second thing is, after you have found out all your team members, next is assigning the responsibilities and deciding who will do what. Now even in our architecture, we'll be discussing who will do what, who will be responsible for what. Then the last part is coordination. Now who will be the captain of the team, who will be the vice captain of the team, things like that, right? Who will head the team as a coach, things like that. Now likewise, when we are talking about architecting in AWS, we will also be talking about, hey, how will our components coordinate amongst each other, how will they talk amongst each other, things like that. So without any further delay, I hope so everybody would have understood what is architecture. We will proceed further. Now this is the entire architecture of our application. The image shown here is just for the visual representation and not exactly represent the whole architecture, right? So we have not detailed entire architecture in this diagram. This is just for the visual representation. The first thing is Telegram. People who have watched our first demo will be able to understand this. The first part will be the Telegram bot. In case if you have not created the Telegram bot, please go and see our first video on how to create the Telegram bot. So the Telegram bot will accept an image and it will transfer the image to a service called as EC2. We'll talk about EC2, S3 and recognition in detail in the further slides. But as of now, Telegram will send the image to a service or a component called as EC2. Now once EC2 accepts the image, EC2 puts the image on a bucket. So bucket is nothing but a storage medium, right? It's just a storage. Now EC2 will store that image to a bucket which is inside S3. S3 is simple storage service. That's why it is a storage service. Now when EC2 completes that activity, EC2 will ask recognition. Hey recognition, I have uploaded an image to S3. Now please give me the facial features of the uploaded image. That's what EC2 will ask recognition. Now recognition is a service which will be capable of understanding what is there in the image, deriving features out of that particular image and understanding how many faces are there, whether they are male, whether they are female, what is the age, things like that. Now recognition will instantly say, hey S3, can you please give me the image which EC2 has uploaded. S3 will give that image. Recognition will try and detect all the features inside the image, and recognition will pass on the information that it understood after reading the image. For example, recognition could say, I have found 3 faces, I have found 10 faces, I have not found any face, please take the response back. Now EC2 will take the response, and whatever the response, EC2 will send it back to Telegram. Now that completes our architecture. I'll repeat it again very fast. First step is to accept the image using a Telegram bot. Second step is to store the image on S3. Third step is to invoke recognition. Fourth step is to take the image from S3. Fifth step is to send the facial features from recognition back to EC2. And sixth step is to send the entire response to Telegram bot. Now let's proceed further. So if you can understand this architecture, there are 4 different major components to it. First thing is Telegram bot, second is EC2, third is S3, and fourth is recognition. Now day 1 we'll be completing EC2. That is, in today's video we'll be talking about EC2. Now day 2 we'll be talking about S3. Day 3 we'll be talking about how to integrate EC2, S3 and recognition. Day 4 we'll be integrating the Telegram bot with our EC2. And that will complete our entire project. So this is the flow for the entire 4 days. Now without any further delay, let's get started with cloud computing. So before starting this session, on our Telegram channel, I posted a question. What's a virtual machine? For that, most of you have answered right, which I'm really happy about. But let's get the things very clear right from the beginning. EC2 allows a user to rent a virtual computer for creating their own application. Now if you observe what we are going to do, we are going to build face detection application on our own. Now that's exactly what EC2 does. EC2 allows us to rent a virtual computer for building our own application. Are we going to build our own application? Yes. So that's why we need a virtual computer. Now let's discuss what is virtual computer, what is virtual machine here. Now I hope everyone can understand this. You may be from mechanical, you may be from civil, you may be from biotech, you may be from computer science. We all can understand what's a computer machine. It comprises of 3 steps, 3 layers. The first layer is hardware, second layer is operating system, and the third layer is application software. Now first layer is hardware. Few examples of it could be keyboard, mouse. The other examples of hardware could be the capability of your computer to get connected to a network. Few computers, probably I'm talking age old days, we will not be able to connect to a Wi-Fi using those computers. Typically desktops and so on, right? We'll not be able to connect to the Wi-Fi. Now that means it doesn't have a Wi-Fi capability. Wi-Fi hardware is missing. Second thing is hard disk. So when we purchase a computer or a laptop, we'll ask, is it 1 TB hard disk? Is it 500 GB hard disk? Things like that. We also would have asked them about RAM. Hey, mine is 4 GB RAM, 8 GB RAM, mine is 16 GB RAM, so on and so forth. Now the second layer is operating system. When we are purchasing a laptop or a computer, we would also ask them, hey, is it Windows 10? Is it Windows 8? Is it Windows XP? Or is it Linux, Mac OS? Things like that, right? That's your operating system. Probably when you are purchasing your mobile, you will ask, is it Android? Is it which version of Android it is? Or is it iOS? Right? So that's your operating system. Then the last part is your application software, which is Word, Excel, so on and so forth. Now I have populated few examples of each layer for your visual understanding. So when I say hardware, we here mean by hard disk, RAM, Wi-Fi connectivity, networking capacity, things like that. Next thing is your operating system, Windows 10, Ubuntu, Linux, Mac, so on and so forth. Software, we are talking about Word, Excel, Paint, things like that. Now, we know that we are going to build our own application. That means we do not need the application software layer, because we are going to create our own application software, which is face detection application. So we don't need that. Next thing is, then who will give us operating system and hardware? So that's where it comes. EC2 provides virtual computers or virtual machines on rent for us. So we are going to make use of EC2 service in order to create our application on top of the operating system and hardware that is provided by AWS. So let's get started. So when I am talking about EC2, there are 4 or 5 important things that we need to understand. Hard disk, RAM, processor, operating system, all of this will be provided by EC2. So our only focus is to create the application. So steps involved in creating an EC2, it is very simple. First step is to select the operating system. Second step is to take and configure the RAM and processors. Third step is to configure the storage. Configuring the storage means, I want 1 TB hard disk, I want 500 GB hard disk, things like that. Now fourth step is to configuring the security, which means that how do I log into the machine? What is the username and password? Things like that. That's your security. So in this entire demo, while I am talking about instance, servers or virtual machines, for the scope of this particular discussion, I would say that all means the same. While actually it may not be same, but at least for this discussion, for this particular video, I would insist that understand that all means the same. When I say instance, or when I say a server, or when I say a virtual machine, I am talking about EC2. So understand guys, there are 4 steps. Step number 1, choosing the operating system. Step number 2, choosing how much RAM you need and how many processors you need. Third step is to get the storage, configure the storage. Fourth step is to concentrate on securing the machine. Now, what are we waiting for? Let's launch an instance. Now when I say instance, what I mean is, by creating a server. Now once you log into Amazon console, this is how it looks. First thing is, please go to services and under compute select EC2. I'll again repeat that, guys. Go to services and click on EC2. That's your first step. After logging in, this is what you need to do. Now second thing is, you should be able to see that running instances for you, it will be 0 because you have not created any instance. For me it is 1 because yesterday I have created a instance. So you would have not created, so running instance for you will be 0. And take a look at the region. The region AWS is Ohio now for me. For you it could be different, but that's not a problem. So how do you change your region? You click on this and you select whatever region that you want. There are few regions which are listed here. You can click on any one of the region as per your wish. But for this demo, I would insist and recommend US East Ohio for building our application. Simply because I have selected so, there is no other region. So you can select any region that you want, but for this particular demo, please follow whatever I am doing. I have selected Ohio region. In case by default, if your region is not Ohio, click on this and select US East Ohio. So once that is done, our next step is to create an instance. So you scroll down a little bit, you should be able to find an orange button which says launch instance. Click on this, select launch instance. Once done, I hope you guys will remember the first step is to select the operating system. Now in the step number 1 in AWS console, it says these are the operating systems which are available. You can scroll down and select your favorite. But again, in the interest of the time, I would say please select whatever I am selecting. And also make sure that you are selecting which is having this free tier eligible tag. If you are selecting some operating system which does not have this free tier eligible, you will get billed. Remember guys, you have provided a debit card or a credit card to Amazon. That means in case if you are getting billed, you will have to pay them. So make sure you are sticking on to whatever I am showing and you are sticking on to the free tier eligible service. So when I scroll down, you will be able to see few operating systems which are not having free tier eligible tag. For example, this one, it doesn't have free tier eligible one. So if you choose this, then you will get billed. So I'll go on top, and for this demo, I am going to select Amazon Linux 2. Now why Linux, why not Windows? Because simple reason, it will be easier for us to build an application in Linux rather than in a Windows. So that's one of the reason. Other than that, there is no other reason. In case if you want to go ahead and then create an operating system with Windows, I mean create a virtual machine with Windows, do that, but not during the demo. So when we are building an entire application in just 3 or 4 days, we will be able to do only what we can do within those number of days. So please understand that and select Amazon Linux 2. So click on select. So that's it, you have selected the operating system. Now second step is to select the number of CPUs and the RAM. So when I say number of CPUs, you might be wondering what it is. So, but I'm sure everybody will know there are phones which are quad core, which are octa core, which are dual core, things like that. Sometimes even laptops, right? So what it means is, in case if you have quad core, that means that Quad core machines are having 4 different CPUs in that. Now number of CPUs decides the number of cores. Now in for this particular demo, again I'm going to restrict myself to select the free tier eligible one. Now if I am selecting the free tier eligible one, which is T2 micro, it says clearly that I will get only one CPU, which is a single core CPU, and I will get only 1 GB RAM. So don't worry guys, that's enough for now, because we are going to build a very small scale application. If we are going to build a very large scale application, we might need more RAM and we might need more number of CPUs. In that case, you can scroll down and you can select whatever is applicable as per your requirement. But for now, when you are following this demo, please select only free tier eligible general purpose T2 micro. I'll again repeat it. Please select only T2 micro. The next step is configuring the instance, which is the third step. Guys, for now, for this particular demo, I will not be able to explain each and every option that is given here. I would recommend you to just click on the next step without changing anything in step number 3. Just click on add storage. Do not change anything in step number 3. Now add storage is simple. How much GB you want for your hard disk. So here by default they have given us 8 GB of hard disk. Guys, I'm not talking about RAM, I'm talking about the hard disk itself. The entire hard disk that we have for the building application, for the application that we are building, is only 8 GB. And that is perfectly enough for us. The reason why I'm saying that is enough for us is because it is SSD. SSD comes with optimized performance, optimized IOPS. So we do not have to increase that. In case if you wish to increase, you can increase, but that might add up cost. You can read from here. Free tier eligible customers can get up to 30 GB of EBS SSD free. If you increase the storage above 30 GB, then you might have to pay. So please note it down very carefully. Restrict yourself only till 8 GB or lesser than 30 GB. So I'm going to leave it as is this. I'm going to select only 8 GB because that is enough for us. So fifth step is adding the tags. We will talk about adding the tags in the coming days. Right now you just leave it and proceed to configuring the security group. So fifth step, do not do anything, leave it as same. Third step and fifth step, do not do anything, leave it as it is and proceed to the next step. So sixth step is to configure the security of your machine. So I will be explaining about this security group probably in another 15-20 minutes. Right now what you need to do is just make a note of this particular type, which is SSH. We'll be talking about it. And also make a note of this port number. That's all you have to do, and click on review and launch. I'll be explaining you what this line means probably in another 20 minutes. So just click on review and launch. Last and final step is to just reviewing whatever you have selected in the previous step. Make sure that you have selected the free tier eligible and make sure that your operating system is Linux. Also make sure that your instance type is T2 micro, which is free tier eligible. So here is what your security group details are. The type is SSH and then the port number is 22. Make a note of it and then click on launch. So when you click on launch, guys, this is a very important step. When you click on launch, what you need to do is you need to click on create a new key pair, and I am going to give a name for my key pair. I'll be explaining to you what is this key pair means, but as of now just understand that we need to give a name for this key pair. So whatever name you want, you can give. Once you have given the key pair name, you just click on download the key pair. So you will be able to download a file called as .pym. The extension of the file is .pem. Okay, I'll again repeat it. The extension of the file will be .pem, and then the name of the file will be the name that you are giving here. Once you have downloaded the key pair, click on launch instance. Guys, I'll repeat it again. The first step is to select the operating system. Second step is to select the CPU and RAM. Third step is configuring the instance. Do not do anything, just skip it. Fourth step is to add the storage. Do not do any modification. 8 GB storage is good enough for this application. Fourth step, which is adding the tags. Again, do not do any modifications there, just proceed further. Sixth step is to configuring the security group. So just make a note of the type and then the port number and then proceed further. For the first time, when you click launch, it will throw a pop-up window where you need to create a new key pair. Click on this and then click on create a new key pair. Give your key pair a name and click on download key pair. Finally, once you have done, you will be downloading a file called as .pem file. Once that is done, click on launch instance. If everything goes well, you should be able to create an instance and then we should be able to see this, your instance are launching now. So once this is done, click on this link. It will just take a couple of seconds for AWS to launch your instance, and in another 5-6 seconds your instances will be running. So as you can see here, this is my instance. When I say instance, please make a note that it is also a server or it is also a virtual machine. So we are able to successfully create a virtual machine. So we have completed it. So we have a machine now which is residing in Ohio. Ohio is in US East. So this particular machine that we are seeing now is actually residing in US. So within few clicks of buttons, we are able to create a virtual machine which is residing in US. So our first step is completed. So let's go back and check, is this what we have done? So yes, we have chosen the operating system. Our operating system is Amazon Linux 2, which is a Linux based operating system. Second step is we selected RAM and processor. 1 GB RAM we have selected, and only one virtual CPU, only one CPU we have selected. Now third thing is about the storage. We have selected 8 GB of storage. That is good enough for running the entire application since it's a small scale application. Now fourth thing is we have two different things for security. One is the key pair that we have downloaded. That's a PEM file, that is .pem file. We have that file. And also we have a port number which is open. The port number is 22. So guys, it's very clear. We have done these 4 steps right and our instance is running now. Now how do we connect to the instance? Please make a note that this particular instance is a Linux based instance. For connecting to a Linux based instance, we have a software called as Putty. P-U-T-T-Y. You need to download that software from Google. Just search download Putty for Windows or download Putty for Linux, whatever your operating system is. Okay. So download Putty. The moment you download Putty, you have downloaded Putty. I'm going to show you how to do that. But once you are done, second step is to connect your machine to the AWS machine that we have created in US. That's your second step using Putty. Now for that, we have made a note that our type is SSH and then the port number is 22. That is very important. So we are going to do that. So guys, I want all of us to make a note of this IP address. The IP address is of my machine. You can see the IP address of my machine here. I will copy this and I will put it on my browser. Let's check what is happening. Probably it will just keep buffering, nothing happens. Okay. So, but yeah, so I have got an IP address and this is my machine's IP address. Every machine will have an IP address which is connected over the network. So my machine is also connected over the network and it is also having an IP address. Now the next step is to get connected to the machine. Now when I say how do we get connected to the machine, we need to have a software called as Putty. So in the interest of the time, I already have downloaded a client called as Putty. Now guys, I am using Linux machine. I am using Ubuntu machine in my laptop. You might be using Windows, or you might be on Mac. So we will be giving you a complete guide on how to use Putty to get connected to your AWS instance for different operating system. So I am going to show you how to do that using Ubuntu, and I will also brief you on how to do that on Windows. So in case if you have any questions, in case if you are not able to follow this video, we will be sending you the entire comprehensive guide on how to do that on our Telegram channel. Please get connected to that. Now the important thing is guys, we need to use Putty and get connected. But for that, we need keys. So when I say keys, there are two things. AWS Linux operating systems basically follows key pairs. That means there will be a public key and there will be a private key. So you need to have both in order to get connected. Here in AWS, generally itself, when I say public and private key, public keys will be stored on the server, meaning on the instance, right? Both are same. It will already be present on your server. So you don't have to have the public key. But whereas when we are talking about private keys are the one which we need to upload while connecting to our server. Now when I say when we need to upload while we are connecting to the server, how are we going to connect to the server? Using Putty. Now Putty accepts private keys in the form of PPK. Please make a note of this guys. Putty accepts private keys in the form of .ppk files. And I hope all of you will remember that we have downloaded a private key from AWS which is in the format of PEM. So that means there is a mismatch in the file names, in the file extension. What we need to do is we need to convert this PEM to PPK. That's our first step for getting connected. So I'll again type it here. So steps for getting connected is convert PEM to PPK. Now how do we do that? We have a software for that called as PuttyGen. We'll be sending you again a comprehensive guide on how to use PuttyGen, but for now I'm going to use commands for doing it. So command is very simple because it's one single line, one simple straight line. That's about it. So I'm going to type in my command. So I have downloaded the file in my downloads folder. And here in this downloads folder, so I'm going to type in this command called as PuttyGen. and your file name. My file name is aws-webinar-key.pem, and the output file name is aws- you need to give this file name. Okay, this is the existing file name that you have downloaded from Amazon, and the other file name is the one that we need to give now, -key.ppk. Guys, here is what you need to understand. We are converting .pem file to ppk file. Okay, so that's why I'm giving the extension as ppk, and that's it. This particular command won't give any output, so this means that it is completed. We are able to convert PEM file to ppk file. This is done. So I'm going to type in exit and I'm going to complete it. So your first step is done. I'll type in the command again for your reference in case if you need. Puttygen, and give your key name, key file, and type in -o and then give your file name, key file name, but this should be with the .ppk and the previous one should be with .pem. So this way we are able to convert PEM file to ppk file. So your first step is done. Second step is to use Putty and get connected. This step is so simple, guys. All you have to do is just take in your IP address and open a software called as Putty. You need to download this. I will tell you the link from where you can download it. Simple it is. And make sure that the type is SSH and then the port is 22. I hope you will be able to understand from where we are getting these two things. This is from our security group itself. So once that is done, they have asked you to put your IP address, enter your IP address. The IP address that you have taken from here, copy that and paste it here. Now this is done, guys. Now if you click on open, it is going to ask you to upload a private key file. Remember the one that we have just converted now, PEM file to ppk file. That's what we need now. So just go to an option on the left hand side. You will be able to scroll down. Just scroll down and check for the option SSH under connection. So open up this option called as SSH and scroll down a little bit. You will be able to find an option called as auth. Do not open this. Do not open this auth, but just click on the auth. Once you have done, there is a browse button. Click on this and then go to downloads and select ppk. Guys, look this carefully. I have selected .ppk file, not PEM file. Please select only ppk file. Once you have completed that, you can click on open. But for now, since I am showing a demo to you, I will increase my font size so that all of us can see clearly. This step is not mandatory, of course, you can use in your own ways. But since we are all in demo, I am going to increase the font size. I'm going to click on OK and click on open. So this should take a couple of seconds, and once it is done, you should be able to see this message. Server's host key is not cached. Do you want to cache this? You just say accept and you will be prompted to enter the username. Now username for this particular machine is ec2-user. If you have selected the same operating system as I have selected here, the username would remain same for all of us. Make a note of it. The username here is EC2-user. Nothing in caps. It is not underscore. It is hyphen. EC2-user. Once you have selected the login username, you just have to click on enter. It shouldn't ask you to enter the password because we don't need a password, just because we have the private key. Just give it a couple of seconds. It should prompt you that you have successfully logged in. Now this is how logged in machine will look like. So I'll again repeat the steps, guys. Thing is, you just have to convert PEM to PPK using PuttyGen command or PuttyGen software. I will tell you where to download these two softwares from. Next thing is, using Putty, you should be able to get connected to the machine. All you need to do is, first step, copy the IP address from Amazon, put it on the host name or IP address. Make sure you are using connection type as SSH and port number as 22. Third step is to go to auth under SSH, which is under connections. Click on browse when you are asked to browse the private key. Select the PPK file and not the PEM file. Select PPK file and click on OK. Then after that, click on open. Once you are done, it will show a pop-up for which you should say accept. And then the second thing is to put your username as EC2-user. Once done, you are successfully connected to the machine which is there in US. Let's go back to our next step of the face detection application. Sometimes you just don't play. You need to be in services as well, right? Just like Dhoni. Now, what we are going to do is, using our machine, we are going to install a server. Okay. When I say server, today we are going to be installing a server called as Apache. In tech world, we call it as HTTPD. HTTPD stands for HTTP servers, HTTP daemon. Now daemon are the services which runs in the background. Now today we are going to be installing a server called as Apache that will be on our virtual machine. These are the 4 different commands that we are going to execute and create our name, put our name on the browser. 4 little simple steps. So let's get into the demo now. So we already have our server. We already got connected to the server using Putty. Now what we need to do is, first thing is, we need to install a server on top of this. So for that, the command is simple. Sudo yum install httpd. You type this and it is going to ask you, it's going to take 5.1 MB. Should I continue and download this? You say yes. You just have to type Y and press enter. It would have downloaded everything. Now once this is done, download and install is completed. Second step is to start the service. Okay. First step is to install and download the particular service, which is HTTPD. So I have done that using a command sudo yum install httpd. Second step is to start this service. For that, you need to type sudo service httpd start. Once you type this, you will get a small line here which says redirecting you to this particular service. So do not mind this. You type in the same command, httpd, this time not start, this time type status. Now this is just to make sure whether the service got started or not. The moment you type this, you should be able to see a green color which says that active and running. In case if it is not showing active and running, you will not be able to proceed with the demo. You would have made a small mistake in the first two steps. First step is to type sudo yum install httpd. Second step is to type sudo service httpd start. Once done, then you type in the command sudo vim /var/www/html/index.html. Now this is a little bigger one. Pause the screen and do it. Make a note of it in case if you want to. Hit enter. You will see a whole black screen. Now the moment you see this, just press I. I'll repeat it again. Just press key I. I for ice cream. Just press that. If you have done that, your window on the bottom left will get changed to insert. If you are able to see that, then you are good to go. Type whatever you want. So I have typed whatever I want. Once done, please make a note of this, guys. Once you have completed this, I'll tell you what you need to do. You need to press escape and then colon and then WQ and then hit an enter. Okay, so I'll again repeat it. Once you have completed typing whatever you want on the black screen which says insert, you press escape, then you press colon, then you press WQ and then hit an enter. To know more about what this command is, what this specific set of statement is, please go and refer online. This is just to write and quit. WQ stands for write and quit. So I'll again go back to my putty. I will press in one escape. Once I am done, insert will vanish. Then I'll press colon. Then I will press WQ. You should be able to see whatever you are typing on the bottom left. And then hit an enter. Once you are done with this, you should be back to your previous window. So what we have done is we have installed httpd. We have downloaded it first and then we have installed httpd. Then the next step is we have started it, and then the next step is we have created a file with the content whatever we want, but that file should be in this particular position, in this particular drive, in this particular path. So once this is done, almost everything is set. So let's go back to our AWS, copy this link and put it on the browser. I hope still this should keep buffering and then nothing should happen. It will try and load things, but nothing will happen. Now guys, here is what I want you to think. Now if you observe what we have done, we have opened a port number called as 22 while we were creating our instance, right? While we were launching our instance, there was a point where we just saw SSH and 22. Now this means that only that particular traffic will be allowed to enter our machine. Now The traffic that we are sending to our machine, I think everybody knows what this traffic is. This traffic is HTTP traffic. So our machine allows only SSH and it denies all the other traffic. All the other traffics by default will be denied. Now what we need to do is, here is where we need to go and allow HTTP traffic as well. Please allow. This is what we need to tell AWS. My machine is not just SSH. My machine should be, I should be able to access my machine even from a browser. Browsers are one which will be able to send HTTP request and get the HTTP response. If you would have understood what we did here, the first command that we typed to install our Apache is sudo yum install httpd. Now this HTTP and this HTTP is same. So HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, which is used as a web protocol. And the client that I'm using to do that is web browser. Okay, everything is web. So I want my product to be on the web so that everybody can access it. So that's the reason I'm putting my product on the web. So for that, we need to somewhere add please allow HTTP. We need to tell AWS to accept HTTP. So how we are going to do that is basically come here. You should be able to see something called as security group. Once you select your instance, on the bottom of it, you should be able to see something called as security group. I hope you are able to see this. This is security group. And in this security group, they have also given you a link where you can view the inbound rules. Click on that. And as you can see here, port number 22 is allowed, but HTTP is not allowed. So what I'm going to do is, I know that HTTP port is running on 80, so I'm just going to quickly go and check HTTP port number. So HTTP port number is 80, and I will also check SSH port number. SSH port number is 22. So likewise, I'm going to quickly check again what is HTTP port number. HTTP port number is 80. So let us also check what is HTTPS default port number. That should be 443. HTTPS protocol port number is 443, which is HTTPS. So 443 protocol is for HTTPS with SSL. Okay. So right now what we are going to do is, we are going to allow only HTTP. That is enough for us. We don't need HTTPS because we are building a small application. So HTTP is enough for us. But having said that, it is not recommended only to have HTTP. It is a good practice to install HTTPS server. So since considering the time, we will only have HTTP service. So what we are going to do is, we are going to add HTTP here, which is of port number 80. So how we are going to do that? Just click on this security group. You should be able to see the security group here. Again, click on that. You should be able to see inbound rules here, which says only only SSH is allowed on port number 22. We need to be somehow adding HTTP here. You should be able to see an edit inbound rules here. Click on that. Once done, you should be able to see add rule. Click on that as well. And here is where the type is. So check if you have HTTP. We are not talking about HTTPS. We are talking about HTTP. So click on HTTP. Automatically the port will be configured for 80. I'm going to say anywhere in the world. allow this traffic from anywhere in the world. Once done, click on save. Then a couple of seconds, your inbound rules would have got added. Once done, go to your browser, put the IP address and check you are getting whatever you have typed. So a very simple one, guys. Let me explain you the last step again. So you will be in your EC2 dashboard. Right now I will be having two different instances because yesterday I created one and then today I have another one. So right now I will be having two different instances. I'll show you the instance that I have created just now. So this is the instance that I have created just now. How I am able to identify that? Based on this, launch time is 26th of March. So I've selected that and I am able to see the security group here. I clicked on view inbound rules. At that time it was showing only SSH, which is on port number 22. I wanted to add port number 80 because we are testing our web server. So for that, what I did is I clicked on this launch wizard 2. For you it could be launch wizard 1. Click on that. Then there will be a security group ID which is listed here. Again click on this. You should be able to see the inbound rules. At that time I was having only SSH. Click on edit inbound rules and click on add rule. For a moment I will just delete it. Yeah, so click on add rule, go to this and then type in HTTP. Do not click on HTTPS because we are not going to do that. We are going to do only HTTP and select from anywhere in the world and click on save rules. Once done, go to your web browser, paste your copied IP address. You should be able to see the output just in a second. Now, what we have done is we are able to create an EC2 instance. We are able to create an EC2 virtual machine, virtual server, and we have installed Apache on top of it. We have converted that EC2 server as a web server and we created a file. We entered few stuffs in the file, which is our own favorite stuff. And then by putting the IP address, we are able to understand how it is working from the browser. Now, once this is done, please take a screenshot of every step that we discussed now and save it in a Word document. This is super important step, guys. You have to show the screenshots in your Word document, and this Word document should be submitted to us in order for you to get your e-certificate. Again, I'll repeat it. Whatever you have done, please take a screenshot of it and put it in a Word document. And this Word document will be submitted to us via your GitHub account. And once we take that and evaluate, that's when we will make sure that you are eligible to get the e-certificate. Once you are eligible, we will release your e-certificate online. And the last part for today's webinar is the certification path itself. Now, which is good for you? Now, AWS offers certification at 4 different levels. One is foundational level, second one is associate level, third one is professional level, the last one is specialty level. So I would recommend all of you as a fresher to at least see about next 2 levels, which is foundational level and associate level. In foundational level, you have one certification that you can have that's called as cloud practitioner. In associate level, you have 3 different certifications. One is cloud architecting, the other one is cloud operations, and then the other one is developer. So we call the first one as solution architect, the second one, which is into operations, that's called as sysops, and then the third one is developer itself. Now, if you do not have any coding background, you don't go for developer. because that involves coding with probably Python or something like that. So do not go for AWS certified developer. You can always look into the other two options, solution architecting as well as sysops. Solution architecting and sysops also requires a small amount of coding knowledge, coding background. You don't have to code anything, but you might need to have a little bit of coding knowledge, right? A little bit, that's enough. Now, solution architecting is more of architecting and choosing the service which is right, which is not right, things like that. SysOps administration is all about creating the users, managing the account as such, more into billing, more into managing the account as such. And the next level of certification will be professional level of certification, which requires 2 years of comprehensive designing and architecting using cloud. So I would say definitely you can aim for that, definitely you can go ahead with that, but I would definitely I would strongly recommend you to first complete foundational or associate level first. Then comes the specialty courses. You have 6 different specialties, which includes networking, machine learning, analytics, databases, security, Alexa, so on and so forth. So okay, I understand all of this. Now where do I get started? How do I get started, right? So the benefit of having AWS certificate is tremendous, right? Because if you want to stand apart, if you want to stand out in the crowd, the only way that you can do now, amid of all these corona stuff, what you can do is very simple stuff. Get a internationally accepted certificate. Now that's what AWS gives you. So how do we proceed now? So the first thing that you need to do is you need to identify an ATP, which is authorized training partner for delivering Amazon certifications. I am excited and proud to say that we are the only ATPs who can serve college students and then get you AWS certificate in India. So just reach to us and we will guide you for further steps, what you need to do in order to take these certifications. Now, once you know how to do that, next thing is you need to schedule an exam. You need to go there or you need to take it from your laptop. The examination will be there for about 2 hours or so. There will be a lot of questions, probably 65 to 70 questions in and around AWS and services, things like that. And once you take the exam, on the very same day you will get your result. In another couple of working days you should be getting your certificate as well. So what I would say is, please use these next 21 days to extensively prepare for AWS, and then within this 21 days I hope all of you can at least get through this foundational level and get into the associate level as soon as possible. So for any questions guys, please reach out to us on our Telegram channel. All the guides, all the materials will be uploaded there, including the recording of this particular video. So that's it from my end today. So I'll again do a very quick recap of what we discussed today. The first thing was how to resolve common account issues. Second thing that we discussed is about the architecture, EC2, S3 and recognition. Today we discussed about EC2. In tomorrow's session we'll be discussing about S3, and then the day after we'll be discussing about how to collaborate and coordinate between these 3 services, and then final day we'll be discussing about how to integrate our Telegram bot to EC2. So that will put an end to our entire face detection application using AWS. In EC2, first step is to select the operating system, second step is to select the RAM and CPU, then the third step is to configure the storage, and then the fourth step is to understand the security behind it. We did that, and we used Putty to access the created instance, and we also used PuttyGen to change our PEM file to PPK file. So quickly I will show you how to download Putty. So you just type in download Putty. There'll be a website putty.org. Go to this and then lot of files will be here. You can download whatever client that you want. This clearly says you can download Putty here. Click on this, you should be able to download a zip file. Just find a zip file. Do not download this MSI or tar because this includes only Putty. We need Putty Gen as well. So here is where you will get that. Hopefully you should be able to see this. So just scroll down a little bit in this website. You should be able to see putty.zip. Putty.zip is here. Understand whether your machine architecture is 32 or 64. Mine is 64. I'll just download this putty.zip. So once you have downloaded, you should be able to see putty.exe file, puttygen.exe file. I'll just open this up and show you putty.exe file and puttygen.exe file. So these two files should help you to generate the key pair stuffs, and also putty.exe will help you to get connected to your machine on AWS. So thanks a lot guys. We will meet you again in the next video. Until then, bye from Aravind. Take care.